Hello everyone, welcome to PA Academy. This is the part 3 of the video series of Surd. So in the part 1 we looked at the introduction of Surd and the basic rule of Surd, and in the part 2 we look at how to express a Surd as a single Surd. So if you missed those videos, kindly check the description of this video. You'll find a link to those videos. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. Now in this part 3 we are going to be looking at to simplify this Surd. So this part 3 is just the opposite of what we looked at in the part 2 of this video. Now looking at this Surd, we can simplify it further. You can see this is just okay. So let's start with number 1. We have square root of 12. Now if you look at all these 5 examples that we are going to be solving in this part 3 of this video, you see that something like for root 12, for example, we can't have a perfect number, a whole number for root 12 or root 32, 75, and so on. So how can we now simplify this? That is what we want to do right now. So to do this, now we have root 12. We are going to break it down into two numbers. One perfect, a perfect square, and another number. What do I mean? When I talk about a perfect square, that means a number whereby if you find the square root of that number, it will give you a whole number. So for 12, you can break it down into square root of 4 times 3. 4 times 3 will still give us 12, and we'll still have our root 12. But because we want to simplify it, so we write it as 4 times 3. Now remember, 4 is a perfect square, so we can go ahead and break it down like this. That will be root 4 times root 3. Don't forget earlier I said root 4 is a perfect square. So if you are to simplify this, we'll have the square root of 4 is 2 times root 3. No, root 3 is an irrational number, so that will give us 2 root 3. So that's just the answer for example 1. So if you simplify square root of 12, you have 2 root 3. So it's important you know this, because in the next video we are going to be applying some of this to solve more questions. So let's go to number 2. It says root 32. So we are going to look for a perfect square. A perfect square and another number whereby when we multiply it, it will give us 32. So and that number that we can use is 16 times 2. 16 times 2 will still give us 32. So if you should break it apart, we'll have square root of 16 times square root of 2. So the square root of 16 is 4 times square root of 2. So our answer is 4 root 2. That's 4 times square root of 2 is 4 root 2. So that's the answer to question number 2. So let's go to number 3. So number 3 is square root of 75. So if you are to simplify this also, two numbers, one a perfect square and the other one will just, if you multiply by it, will give us 75. So those two numbers are 25 times 3, because 25 times 3 will give us 75. So let's put it apart. We'll have square root of 25 times square root of 3. So square root of 25 is 5 times square root of 3. So our answer will be 5 root 3. So you can see this is a very simple question. So what is just there is I just look for a perfect square that can multiply the number that you want to simplify. So some of the perfect, when we talk about perfect square, some of them are, we have 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, and so on. Just 2 raised to power 2, that's it. Then this is 3 raised to power 2, This is 4 raised to power 2. This is 5 raised to power 2. This is 6 raised to power 2, 36. 7 raised to power 2, 49. 8 raised to power 2, that's 64. So that's what we mean by perfect square. These numbers are perfect square. So let's go to question number 4. So this is number 4, square root of 128. So square root of 128. So if you are to simplify it, so what perfect square can we use for this? So we can use square root of 64 times 2. Okay, so square root of 64 times 2. So if you should put this apart, you have square root of 64 times square root of 2. Now the square root of 64 is 8 times square root of 2. Don't forget, the reason why we're having this is that this 2 root 2 is a rational number. It won't give us a whole number. We'll be having 1 point something something something, and that's not what we want. So that's why we cannot find the square root of 2, but we can find the square root of 64, which will give us a whole number, which is 8. So our answer here will be 8 root 2. So if you are to simplify square root of 128, what we'll have is 8 root 2. So for question number 5, which is square root of 245. So which is the square root of 245. So I won't be doing this. I want you to solve it and let me know what your answer is in the comments below. So kindly solve this. Simplify the square root of 245 and drop your answer in the comments below. Let me know if you understand the examples I've just done. So that is it for this video. We are going to continue in the part 4 of this video. So if you are yet to subscribe, please kindly click on the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the part 4 of this video. Thank you.